Please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Leahy.
Here.
Mr. Larry.
Here.
Ms. Martin.
Here.
Mr. McHugh.
Here.
Mayor Martin.
Here.
Ms. Doherty.
Here.
Ms. Fattacante.
Here.
7 present.
Thank you. I'd like, before I hear from the superintendent, I know Ms. Doherty wanted to bring up a matter.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I asked to suspend the rules for the purpose of discussing school committee approval for the superintendent to send a letter inviting Senator Edward Kennedy to visit Lowell schools.
Motion to suspend the rules, Your Honor.
Thank you. As we all know, we're looking at
all
federal...
those in
Roll
favor?
call. Oh, I'm sorry.
Aye.
I'm sorry.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The rules are suspended.
Thank you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. As we all know, we're looking at $2.9 million in cuts in federal funding for next year's budget. If you look over the last few years, we've seen a trend of federal monies continuing to decline. My thinking is if we can get Senator Kennedy to visit Lowell, it will provide us with the opportunity to show the senator firsthand the many great initiatives going on in our schools, the diversity and talent of our students and staff, and especially the impact the federal reductions have on public education in this city and continue to have. So my goal is just to send a letter inviting Senator Kennedy. I've spoken with State Senator Panagiotakis' office about the potential of this request. They are in favor of it. They said they would like to be copied in on the letter if we should decide to do that. And there's a good chance that we could get the senator out here to see firsthand what's happening in Lowell schools.
Okay, anything further? All those in favor of Ms. Doherty's motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is adopted. Madam Superintendent, do you want to present an overview of the budget?
Yes, committee members have had opportunity to review the budget since we handed it out last Wednesday. I want to apologize to the public. Mr. Lang and I have collaborated closely in the development of the budget, but the last final thing we failed to collaborate on, we each thought the other was preparing copies for the public. So we don't have them for tonight. We'll have them for the next public hearing. The overview that you have that I briefly went over when we last met explains the current revenue context and the grant context. It describes what I've described as the budget busters in this budget, where we're looking at an 8.5% increase in health insurance costs, or almost $1 million, electricity and natural gas and oil up estimated $530,000 over the current year's budgeted amount, sick leave buyback up $450,000 over this year's budgeted amount, and special education transportation up $172,000 over this year's budgeted amount. So it's about $2 million of increases brought on by just those 4 areas of the budget that are costs that are givens, that are fixed costs that have grown. I then outlined a number of difficult choices that we made, particularly in what I described as the trade-off budget. And in your materials, you have a listing first by school of the trade-offs. So page 1 of the materials under recommended adjustments, the first 3 pages list all of the trade-offs by school that are involved in the recommendations in this budget. So that, for example, looking at the Bailey Elementary School, the first school listed, eliminating a half-time instructional technology specialist position and the half-time science teaching position, and replacing it with a half-time reading resource teacher position and a half-time library media specialist position. So that's an example of trade-offs. There's no new net cost in those trade-offs, but they allocate existing dollars in ways that are designed to meet the school's current needs as best they can with current resources. And The Bailey School trade-offs are an example. Of course, the Bailey School doesn't want to eliminate a half-time instructional technology specialist or a half-time science specialist, but it needs the reading resource teacher and the half-time library media specialist more. So throughout those first 3 pages listed by school, you can see you can see what the trade-offs are by school. When you go to page 4, it's the trade-offs, but now they're listed by page in the budget. So starting on page 4, the first one listed is at the Daly Middle School, eliminating 1 assistant principal position. So that's on page 4 of the budget. And there's an addition of an assistant principal position at the Robinson. So that trade-off happens to appear on the same page. But if you go down that, page 6 has a number of positions eliminated, and you can see a lot of different schools with only some eliminated and in some cases added later. So the easiest way to understand the trade-offs is pages 1, 2, and 3, because it shows you the trade-off by school. But I know the committee likes to go through the budget by page, and so Mr. Lang took the same trade-offs and listed them by page. So that takes you through page 6 of the budget adjustments. If you then go to page 7 are the essential needs budget, and these are the special education changes that I'm recommending in response to 2 things. One, the original DLI special education review that was done several years ago, and then most recently this year's coordinated review by the Department of Education. Both that original report and the coordinated review made a number of recommendations, identified a number of shortcomings in the program. The shortcomings have grown greater in the last several years because we have been eliminating special education positions since 2002. The consequences are that we are out of compliance in some areas, and we are in danger, unless we make these choices, of becoming even more out of compliance, as well as, unless we make these additions to the budget, we'll be incurring greater costs for out-of-district tuitions and transportation. So these essential needs related to special education are twofold: to get us in compliance and keep us in compliance, and secondly, to contain the generally spiraling costs of out-of-district placement costs for tuition and transportation. So all of those happen to be on page 15A of the budget. So they can all be looked at when you get to page 15, because they're all related to special education. The next page, starting at page 8, listed by level, so the high school altogether, middle school, and then page 9, elementary school, are what I describe as critical needs. These are very important needs. They are services and programs and positions that we need. They don't rise to the level of the essential needs that we need for compliance and cost containment, but they are important. So page 8 identifies, for example, at the high school, maintaining funding for the Saturday morning and after-school tutoring program. That's been a success. That's been, for this year, funded by grants. The grants are being eliminated for next year, so we need either another grant or local dollars if we're going to continue that. Similarly, 3 years ago, for the 2003-2004 school year, we made a number of cuts in the athletic program at the high school. And so here you can see a recommendation for $23,000 to restore assistant coaching positions in boys and girls soccer, boys hockey, boys baseball, girls softball, boys and girls lacrosse, and the athletic records and statistician position. Also here is the restoration of an academic department chair for science. Committee members remember that one of the painful reductions several years ago was the merger of the science department with the technology and several other departments into a single department head position. So this seeks to restore the science department position as a separate. Under middle school, there are a listing of both programs for youngsters as well as teaching positions that are listed, and page 9, the elementary. Altogether, those high school, middle school, and elementary represent about $2.6 million of additional positions, services, and programs. Page 10 takes those and lists them by page. So again, if you're going through by page of the budget, it's listed in order of pages. Page 12 of the information identify all of the, that's everything, thank you. Starting on page 12 is a consolidated list by page of the staffing adjustments.
Oh, for me? Thank you.
I think we sent, this was the information you were seeking on we sent out to you on Friday. It started at page number 12.
It had this stuff in front of it, the packet you got over the weekend. These were the first 2 pages.
Oh,
Okay.
were your first 2 pages the profiles, the elementary and middle school profile? Was that in the first? Okay. The first page, I'm sorry, were the elementary and middle school profiles. I think Mr. McHugh had asked for information about every school, at each school, the number of students in each grade level, so that you could look at average class size at every school by grade level. So you received that on Friday. And then starting on page 12 is a consolidation of all the adjustments. Those are in black. In blue are the essential needs, and in red are the critical needs. So again, if you want to go through by page in the budget. I'll just give a minute for Mr. Lang to get the information to you. I think everyone's set with that information? Okay. And then committee members asked for some additional information, and we've provided it to you as well in that packet, but I think that what I've just gone over is the material that you perhaps most need, including the rationale for each of the trade-offs and for the critical needs. There are a lot of adjustments in this budget, so going through it page by page, we're hopeful that that consolidated list will be helpful to you. So I think you, unless there are other questions, I'd be happy to respond as you've got questions.
Ms. Fatacanti?
Your Honor, I'd make a motion that we go through the budget page by page, because I think for us, the chronological ability to see department by department is important as we cross-reference with all the other papers we have here. But the budget process is a long process, and there are people who are here tonight who may want to discuss something on this budget that may not actually appear till Thursday or next Wednesday. So I'd make a motion, Your Honor, that we go page by page and that we allow people who would like to come to the microphone prior to us starting with the first page, if they have a specific issue that they would like to address, that they be allowed to address it before we actually start the cutting and adding proceeding. Simply because if there are athletic parents here tonight, it's not going to happen until Thursday or next Wednesday. And I certainly don't want to drag people back out of the house if they don't have to come out. So if they could be allowed to, if they're not sure where in the budget their issue is going to come up, if they could be allowed to address the committee immediately before we start, I think that's, because we have no idea how long it could take to get to that part of the budget.
Okay, a motion to hear from the members of the public present by Ms. Fatacante, seconded by Ms. Doherty.
You never know, but I just don't want to just feel they need to speak and then go home if they need to.
Certainly they could stay, but there was 10 o'clock rule, and you don't know what people are going to get up on. And if people are
I hear you, but I just
So-
wanted to, just to make the point that, you
Right.
know, it's not that far down the budget
It's
also.
not, but we can
Okay.
get hung up on page 3. So I don't want people to have to, you know, at 10 o'clock, they'll still be sitting here and, okay? I mean, if people want to wait, by all means, I would love the company all night long, and on Thursday, and on next Wednesday. But if people would like not to wait and like to come to the microphone first, we would just alter our protocol to allow people to do that.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion's approved. Anybody from the public who would like to be heard on any item in this budget, please come forward, state your name and address, and we'd be happy to hear your concerns.
Members of the school committee, my name is Rebecca Sheehan, and I live at 44 Hank Street. I'm a senior at Lowell High School. I've been a member of crew since I was a freshman, and I've been with Jen Campbell since she came to the high school. She's our head coach, and currently we have one assistant varsity coach, a novice boys coach, a novice girls coach, and an assistant to help with the novices. And we really need another assistant coach. What we have right now is not enough. Coach Campbell's trying to get to all 5 varsity boats every day, and we all get shortchanged. The more she tries to be with every boat, the less time she spends with each boat, and it really tells when we get to race day, because all the little things that we can't see to fix and all of the things that she could have helped us improve on, she couldn't because she's with 4 other boats that need her just as much as we do. We miss a lot of practice time, as I just said, waiting for her to get out on the water with us or because she's with other coaches. And we don't have experienced coaches. I love the ones we have, but we don't have experienced coaches that other teams have because 3 of the 4 coaches are paid by the hour, and you can't attract experienced coaches to Lowell with that salary. So that's another reason why she has to get to all 5 of our boats herself. It would just really, we're winning despite the fact that we have these serious disadvantages against teams that have a lot more advantages than we do. So it should really help us a lot if she has an assistant coach and we can do even better than we have already. There are 90 kids on the crew team and we're already cutting kids. It would be a real shame if we had to cut more because of lack of funding. It's a very popular sport and we can do a lot of good for the high school if we have a chance. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, I was in, Mr. Lang confirmed for me that inadvertently, crew was left off of the description of, and the critical needs. There is an assistant coach position in the crew within that $23,000. But in the description written, it was inadvertently omitted, so.
What page are we looking at now to refer back to? Was it 9?
On page 8, the $23,000 item where it says restore assistant coach positions, it should have also said crew. So you can see a number of sports listed.
Yes. On,
Boys and girls soccer, boys hockey, boys
Right.
baseball, girls softball, boys and girls lacrosse. It should also have said crew.
okay.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to be heard on a matter relating to the budget? Please come forward. State your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Ramya Kumar. I live at 341 Pawtucket Boulevard in Camelot Court Apartments, and I'm very happy to be back in after being evacuated for a week. Hello, councilors. Hello, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to talk about Lowell High and its crew team. It's incredible how far the Lowell High crew team has come. My varsity boats this season took medals at both Massachusetts State Championships and the Northeast Regionals. What makes these wins even more amazing is that we are an inner-city school racing against elite prep schools. When we unload our wooden boats, other schools underestimate our racing ability because we don't have the sleek brand-name fiberglass boats that they have. However, we have managed to fundraise for new boats and other equipment on our own. One thing we do need, and I'm asking for your help for today, is another coach. We always need novices to be trained and trained well, because each year, as seniors like myself graduate, the novices move up to our varsity boats. Crew is a fantastic program to keep inner city kids like myself active and involved in their high school and their communities. For me personally, as a coxswain, the little person in back that yells, Crew has brought out self-discipline, confidence, as you can see, because I'm up here talking to you guys right now, and the strong leader in me. I will be coxing for Boston University, a Division I team this fall, and I can already envision spending the night writing a lab report, only to have to wake up at 5 a.m. for crew practice. However, I believe that my high school crew days have already helped me to balance my course load with athletics. Studying medicine, which is what I want to study, will require years of dedication and hard work. But if rowing has taught me anything, it's that with enough hard work and perseverance, anything is possible. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to be heard?
Hello, my name is Andrew McLaughlin from 41 Humphrey Street in Lowell. Thanks for having me speak here. My son's a junior at the high school this year. He's been in the crew team now for 5 seasons. He's ranked number 11 out of 800 kids in the class, and crew has helped him tremendously balance his schedule, do his homework. I mean, these kids row 5-6 days a week, but yet they come home at 6 o'clock at night, eat dinner, get to the books, keep the grades up, and get everything done. The one thing they really need is more coaching. I mean, these kids have done fantastic for the coaches and stuff they do, but a little more coaching and advice would go a long way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sue Cregan. I'm 64 7th Ave in the Pawtuckville section of Lowell. I have a sophomore who is currently enrolled in crew, but I have an incoming freshman next year. And I'm very interested in restoring freshman soccer programs. There are a multitude of children in this city who could potentially play sports, but there are not enough opportunities for them. And if they don't start their freshman year, and they don't hook up with some other kids who might draw them into crew, which happened with my older son, they may be lost. So this is not just about crew, this is about the additional sports. I mean, crew has done wonders for my older son, and it could be wonders for my younger son, but there are other opportunities out there. There are a lot of children out there who play in soccer, and they haven't grown yet. Once they grow, usually between freshman and sophomore year, they may be ready for JV and varsity sports, but at this point they aren't. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. My name is Timothy Sheehan. I reside at 44 Hank Street in Lowell. I am the proud father, of Rebecca. I was at the budget hearing 2 years ago when the committee reluctantly made the cuts that we're talking about restoring now. A number of assistant coaches, freshman coaches, JV coaches positions were eliminated. I believe that non-league contests were eliminated to save on bus transportation, among other things. And one of the many things I have learned in my first year at Lowell High School is how important the athletic program is, not just to the superstars, not just to the starters, not just to the kids who are going to get scholarships, but to the kids who are on those freshman teams, the JV teams, the kids who go out and are cut and are determined to come back the next year and try. It is a real hook that gets all of these kids involved in the high school, and the more involved they are, the easier it is to motivate them to do the things they need to do to be successful. So while I'm certainly in favor of getting another assistant coach for crew, I hope that we can put this in the context of trying to restore all of those cuts in a priority basis as soon as it is possible to do so for the benefit not just of the crew team but of all of those other sports that are so important. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. Dennis Finn, 109 Newbridge Road. There isn't much that I can say that really hasn't already been said. I do ask your support of the budget line item that we're talking about here. I realize in diminishing resources, and you've got a lot of challenging decisions in terms of other items. But I really think that this item here is one that allows our young people really to be challenged and to learn of themselves in new ways that comes back and pays dividends to society as they really go further in this type of sport than any other sport than they were really believe they were capable of doing. And I would contrast that kind of a vision with the types of things that we see today all too often, which is requests for funding and resources basically to fix things that have gone wrong. And it's always more easily recognized to say, we've got this behavior over here that is deviant and socially unacceptable. We need to put this program in place to correct it, and so on and so forth. And I think here is an opportunity to do something, which is proactive and really elevates the opportunity that these kids deserve. I respectfully ask your support of the line item. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor?
And yes, well, let's see if there's anybody else. Anyone else wishing to speak on this subject or any other subject? Go right ahead. One more.
Good evening, Ed Zapatka, 25 Elmwood Ave. I'd just like to make one point on this whole issue, is that Becca mentioned 5 boats. That's actually a very small percentage of the people who are there. This sport has 90 kids in it, which is a very sizable team for any sport. And when you divide up 90 kids amongst some volunteer coaches and one head coach, that's a big chunk of people to keep track of. They have other kids helping kids. So it's just my way of asking for the support for the extra coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Fatacanti?
Thank you, Your Honor.
No, anybody else? Let me just ask one last time. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay. There'll be other opportunities throughout the hearing, so Ms. Fatacanti.
I think my colleagues are in agreement. Since people are here, we don't necessarily have to start with page 1. So why don't we go right to, I'm going to make a motion, I think we're all in agreement, that we start with this particular section, and I believe Mr. McHugh has indicated page 26?
Page 26.
So, Your Honor, why don't we make a motion to take this out of order? I'll make a motion to take this out of order so that we can take care of this right now while people are still here.
Okay, motion by Ms. Fatacanti, seconded by Ms. Doherty. Consider this topic first. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, so we will move to page 26.
Do you, Your Honor, to the superintendent?
Yes.
Yes, if the committee wants to add the recommended coaching positions for interscholastic sports that's on your critical needs list, you would add $23,000 to the second line, coaches interscholastic. You would add $23,000, and that would cover all the positions, including the crew position
And
that we identified.
What are those again?
Pardon me?
What?
Yes,
My
they
memory
are
is fleeting.
assistant
What are those
coach
again?
positions in boys and girls soccer, boys hockey, boys baseball, girls softball, boys and girls lacrosse, the athletic record statistician position, and then the new assistant coach position for the lacrosse.
Okay.
For crew.
I'm sorry, for crew.
Crew.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Mr. McHugh.
Thank you. Just to give a little bit of background before, I'd like to make this motion that we actually add these, but this has just been something that I know some of my colleagues, the athletic subcommittee has been working at. I know one of the speakers tonight alluded to the fact that a number of years ago we've actually reduced this budget down by having to make cuts of positions, especially assistant coaches and freshman sports. So over this past year, the athletic subcommittee has been looking at that and actually looking at the number of students by sport as well as the number of students that are trying out, and that's where we're starting to see. So we can always evaluate efficiently where is the actual need of the sports as far as coaching. So if, in essence, if one sport is no longer the students are drawing and moving over to, let's use crew as an example, that we can provide the support as well as maybe if another sport's not getting the support. So we went through that exercise just to make sure that we are adequately staffing, and that's when we started to see that we're finding that the crew program has grown tremendously. It's the football team has 120 kids on it, yet the crew has only 100 right now. So that means children are getting cut. So it could be almost as high as the football team to give you priority. Plus, it's a two-season sport right now as well. So that's one. But we also noticed that the amount of children that were going through the soccer program, and now there's a huge amount of children trying out but can't make the team because there just aren't the spots. So that's where this item came up through and is put into as a potential an item to be discussed as part of this budget is through this year's worth of work. So I would like to make the motion that on the interscholastic coaches line that we increase it from $401,660 and increase it by $23,000.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. McHugh, seconded by Ms. Fattacante.
Yeah, it's money.
Okay. Anyone else on the motion?
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Larry,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Okay. Anything further on this topic, Madam
Madam
Superintendent?
Yes, also under the critical needs set of recommendations that apply to this page, Athletic Director Martin had met with the subcommittee on several occasions and identified a plan that he'd like to put in place to introduce in a systematic way more of our middle school students to some of the sports that they don't necessarily know about unless they have some formal introduction at middle school. Sports, for example, field hockey, lacrosse, volleyball, tennis. And so his plan is to identify schools that are particularly well situated or well equipped or well staffed to be able to offer an introduction to one of those sports, and so it can become part of an intramural program. His plan, and I think probably Mr. McHugh, who chairs that subcommittee, could probably speak in more detail to it, but his plan is to try to have a systematic but yet low-cost way to introduce more youngsters before they get to high school to some of these sports, to try to increase the number of youngsters who know about them before they get to the high school and are therefore more likely to seek out those opportunities at the start of freshman year to participate on a team that they may not ever have heard of unless we introduce them to it at our middle schools.
So I'd make a motion, Your Honor, to add that additional $20,000 into this budget to create a feeder program in our middle schools.
Second.
And the specific line is coaches for intramurals, the third line on that page.
Please.
Motion to add an additional $20,000 to line 3 to increase that number from 48,143 to 68,143 by Mr. McHugh, seconded by Ms. Fattacante. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Larry,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes?
7 yeas, approved.
Okay. So motion to approve the bottom line?
Motion to approve the bottom line, Your Honor.
But
What's the
I guess
total,
you know
what's the total new bottom line, Mr.?
I have
Lang?
853, 383.
Yep, 853, 383.
853, 383.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I got the one there. What is it? 8?
853, 383.
8? 853, I'm sorry, one more time.
853,
853, comma, 383.
3 what?
853, comma,
383, okay. I'm sorry, I want to get it
It's
right
okay.
page.
Okay. All right. Motion to approve by
Motion to
Ms.
approve.
Fattacante, seconded by Mr. McHugh. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Larry,
Yes.
Miss Martin.
Yes.
Mr. McHugh.
Yes.
Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Miss Doherty.
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes?
7 yeas, approved.
Okay, thank you. That's an approval to add those assistant coaching positions in the athletic department. Those of you interested in that issue is resolved, but you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Back to page 1.
Okay, should we proceed with page one?
Page one, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, any questions on page one?
Madam Superintendent, any
Let me get back.
recommendations?
No, I think that the notes explain some of the shifts in monies with the change in the way in the counsel for the school committee and for collective bargaining is being employed. There's some shifts in lines that monies are appropriated to, and you can also see that the line for contracted services has legal has gone up because of a greater number of legal cases that we've been involved in this year, and that we anticipate that will continue a bit into the future.
Mr. Leahy?
Thank you. Through you to Superintendent. The advertising budget, though, that line went up. Is that
Yes, it's
necessary?
well, we're building it on the projected for this year. So we're projecting that this year we'll be spending that amount of money, and so we're carrying that same line across. That actually means that we'll purchase less advertising because the rates are going up. This is a really exceedingly lean budget, given the large number of retirements and vacancies that we have in the course of the school year, as well as what we anticipate will be a challenge in the fall. Positions that if there are positions that we have late people announcing their retirements or resignations, we'll be competing in a very thin pool of staff to replace them, so that we'll have to be even more aggressive than in the past for our recruiting efforts, some of which involves advertising.
Do we do more web-based, though? Is there more on the computer than there is in the papers? And is that expensive also?
Well, we found that we need to do both. That there's one whole group of people that always look at the web, and that's where they're looking, and other folks who don't do that, and you've got to have a presence in the newspaper.
Okay.
This really is a very conservative budget for advertising for a district.
Mr. Leary?
Just a quick question, just to clarify the legal increases. This is not for our legal counsel. This is specifically, we share, correct me if I'm wrong, we share the expenses for stenographers or what other arbitrators, what have you. That's split with the union, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this is not an increase for legal attorneys?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I do also point out the line item there for contracted services for school construction. We do anticipate we'll be having, the city will be underway with building 2 elementary schools, and in recent discussions involving the city council and the school committee, there's been discussion of the desirability of having a school department person, for example, former Superintendent Sapitz-Harris, playing a part in watching over both building construction sites. So that there's an item in here, a very modest amount, to make that possible.
Mr. Leahy?
I would just make a motion to trim it by 5,000 and put it into the suspense account for the advertising.
I can second that. If we need it, we can always bring it back.
Okay, motion to reduce the advertising line item by $5,000 by Mr. Leahy, seconded by Ms. Faticante. Roll call.
Mr. Leahy?
Yes.
Mr. Leary?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. McHugh?
Yes.
Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
What did you say?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Ms. Faticante?
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Okay, motion to approve the bottom line on this page,
So you got to cut 5,000.
which would be reduced from 257,511 to 252,511
Motion to approve?
by Ms. Faticante, seconded by Mr. Leary. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leary?
Yes.
How about starting with Leahy?
I'm sorry, Mr. Leahy?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Mr. Leary?
Yes.
You're too close together. Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. McHugh?
Yes.
Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
Ms. Fattacante?
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Okay, the next page is the Superintendent Administrative Office. It's the wish of the committee.
Madam Superintendent, any,
Yes, you have,
are we going to
think you're
refer
gonna-
this to the Personnel Subcommittee?
I think the committee, as
Yes.
its practice, is to refer
Right.
in
So-
salaries for personnel.
Through you, Your Honor, I would like to refer the section Superintendent of Schools down to the Deputy Superintendent, or sorry, I should say Assistant Superintendent, to the Personnel Subcommittee.
Which one? Which
Okay,
This one, oh.
it would be all of the personnel section,
Oh, okay.
and stop at total personnel, refer that block of people to the Personnel Subcommittee.
Okay, motion to refer these matters, personnel in the superintendent's office, to the Personnel Subcommittee by Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Mr. Leary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That matter is referred to the Personnel Subcommittee for review and recommendation. As to the non-personnel items, what's the wish of the committee?
I just had a question.
Mr. Leahy.
Could you just give us a little information on the in-state travel system-wide? Gone up just a little bit, or?
This covers the cost for two kinds of travel. One are the travel that people do within state to specific conferences, specific meetings. It can cover within special education travel to out-of-district schools that our students are in. It also, that's one kind. And then the other kind of in-state travel are the, for example, the athletic director gets reimbursed at a mileage rate for all the travel he does all over the state, attending to his work in for his role as athletic director. Similarly, when staff have to travel from between schools, as many of our staff do, there's a mileage reimbursement. So this covers that mileage reimbursement as well as the travel to meetings. We've significantly managed those expenses. There are many fewer conferences that people attend. We've really managed those quite a lot, but we're trying to budget realistically. So we're trying to realistically look at what we're spending, even though we put some controls on it over the last several years. We're just trying to be realistic about what it really costs us.
And the projected number for this year is pretty close, right on target?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Martin?
Thank you. Just a quick question. What is our current mileage reimbursement rate?
It's the IRS rate, which I believe is
That's up
the
to
same as
40.
the city.
.42, is that what it is? No?
I have to check. I have to get that information for you.
I think it's .42. .42.
We'll get that information for next budget.
That would be
discussion.
helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Doherty?
I would move approval on this section.
I'll second.
Okay, motion to approve the non-personnel bottom line of $316,300 by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Ms. Fattacante. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leahy?
Yes.
Mr. Leary?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. McHugh?
Yes.
Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
Ms. Fattacante?
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Okay, next page is administrative support.
And on this page, you can,
We haven't changed, right?
on page 3, you can see no recommendations for no changes in the staffing under administrative support, and no changes in the budget for non-personnel.
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Mr. Leary. Roll call, please. The bottom line is $1,744,240.
Mr. Leahy?
Yes.
Mr. Leary?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. McHugh?
Yes.
Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
Ms. Fattacante?
Yes?
7 yeas, approved.
Next page is principals. Page 4, Madam Superintendent.
Thank you. The only change here is the first trade-off, which is in assistant principals. The assistant principals is trading off the daily assistant principal position, which will be vacant next year, for an added position at the Robinson. I believe that the increase that's cited there is the assistant principalship. Let me just check. Is the assistant principalship at the Bartlett School, which had inadvertently been left out of the budget last year. It was a position that we had, that we filled, and it was inadvertently omitted.
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Ms. Martin. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leahy?
Yes.
Mr. Leary?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. McHugh?
Yes.
Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
Ms. Fattacante?
Yes?
7 yeas, approved.
Okay, next, page 5 is instruction, teaching services, buyback, substitute, school allocations. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, I just want to point out that the longevity payments are going down. That is one impact of the retirements that have come, is that we have fewer people eligible for those longevity payments. So it will go down by $100,000, down to $295,000. The flip side of that is that the pre-employment physicals are going up, because it means that there are some new people being hired new to the system for whom we have the obligation of ensuring the pre-employment physicals. So we're recommending that go to $30,000. This year's projected actual is $26,000. You can see that we're still trying to squeeze tightly the substitute account for both long-term and day-to-day. And here is where the sick leave buyback adjustment. This year's budgeted at $1.5 million, recommending budgeting at $1,950,000, which is still somewhat below this year's projected actual. So it represents very, very tight budgeting of that line.
Ms. Martin.
Actually, that does bring up one of my questions. As I look at some of these, our projections, their relationship to the numbers we had budgeted for in the last fiscal year, I'm concerned about our ability to hit these numbers. You know, looking at longevity, I mean, that's something that to me is a fairly static thing. We should be able to calculate that with great accuracy, I would think. So my concern is that if we would, over $20,000 off, what are we doing better now that we can have better faith in the numbers?
Let me ask Mr. Lang to respond to that.
The longevity payments are, we know exactly who's getting longevity and when. The issue that the 419 projected for this year is higher than we budgeted is we have some people who ended up retiring at the end of this year who we didn't have on the radar screen to retire. So they're actually, instead of getting their longevity payment next December, they're going to get it in June when they go out. So we're actually kind of footing the cost in this year in June to get that money off the books. And then you'll see next year the budget actually goes down. The other big significant one was the sick leave buyback, but as you recall, over the course of the school year, that was actually offset by the salary surplus. So again, some people left that we had anticipated retiring either mid-year or after we prepared last year's budget. Once they leave, they're replaced by a lesser paid incoming teacher, and then that money from the salary line was transferred at the last meeting to cover that buyback. So if that were off again next year, I anticipate again that there would be some kind of a savings in a salary line to offset that. But I'm confident with these numbers.
Other questions? Mr. Leahy.
Sure. I just have one comment, though. I was happy to see that the substitute day-to-day account has been going down significantly, so that's good. And that's always kind of been a pet peeve of mine, so I'm glad to see the drop in those numbers. Thank you.
Okay, what's the wish of the committee?
Move approval.
Motion approved by Ms. Fattacante, Second by Ms. Doherty. Roll call, please. The bottom line figure is $5,982,500.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Martin,
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes?
7 yeas, approved.
Okay, page 6, teaching services, elementary, kindergarten, preschool. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, page 6 has many of the trade-offs involving elementary, and then there are, so if you want to cross-reference them, maybe the easiest way is to look at the all categories listing that you have starting at page 12. Line 3 of page 12 starts listing all of the trade-offs, but these are the trade-offs again of science teaching position for a reading teaching position or a paraprofessional position in order to have a mathematics teaching position. So those are all the trades. And then within, also on page 6, are restoration of additional positions, line, which is a substantial sum for elementary and middle school to be able to restore a teaching position at each school. That's in the critical needs. The budget doesn't include those, but it does include all of the trade-offs. So I'd welcome any questions in response to any of those trade-offs involving elementary schools.
Mr. Leahy.
Thank you. Through you to the superintendent. Tonight, we also got another sheet that's titled Title I Changes. This is probably the most confusing part, I guess, for us this year, with all the trade-offs and numbers of teachers throughout all the schools. But when I look at the sheet that we got tonight, I just have a hard time understanding some schools retained their reading teachers and others weren't able to. So I'm having a hard time understanding that. If you could kind of,
Sure.
how can one school keep 3 and another school can't keep any? So,
Well, each school has its own Title I budget, and it gets its allocation based on the number of students in the school and the percentage of students at the school who are eligible for free and reduced lunch. So a school, for example, like the Merkland, with a large number, large percentage of youngsters eligible for free and reduced lunch, plus it's a large elementary school, that they have the largest Title I allocation for an elementary school. Others have very small allocations because they have a much smaller percentage of their students who are eligible for free and reduced lunch. This sheet that you have in Title I Changes, ELA and reading teachers, just looked at reading teachers. The question I understood that you wanted to ask was how many grant-funded reading teaching positions were there last year at each school, and how many this year. Now, the Title I grants for schools are also used, depending on the school's assessment of its needs, for mathematics and for professional development. So this doesn't tell you the whole picture of what the whole grant for that school is used for. This just speaks to the grant-funded reading teaching positions.
all right, just grant funded.
So it's just the Title I grant-funded reading positions.
All right. I don't know. I guess there's no other way to keep a reading teacher in every school. I mean, other than adding to the local budget.
Pardon me?
It's very disturbing to me this year how many reading teachers we lost, and that we can't at least keep one in every school. And I imagine that you looked at this very carefully, but is there any other suggestions you could make that we could keep at least one reading teacher per school for the schools that don't have any? The Riley, the Sullivan, the Wang, the Washington. I guess what I'm asking too is, what are we doing is there anything we should be doing right now to be proactive on this also? I mean, I know we're trying to speak to our representatives, but I don't know, to me, this this is hard for me to swallow this year, as many people, but.
I mean, you know, these are challenging sets of issues. Each school does have a literacy specialist. So all the schools do have a literacy specialist. We've ensured that, and we use a combination of grant funds for that. You know, schools use Title I funds for social workers. A number of the schools do, so you find that as well. These are challenging set of trade-offs.
All right, I don't know what else to say. It's just really, to look at this sheet, it's unbelievable. And to see how many teachers we've cut or lost over the last few years is just, you know, incredible.
No, I mean, elementary schools just 3 or 4 years ago had, you know, a school like the Riley or the Morey, which are large schools, had 3 class size reduction teachers. They had 2 or 3 more Title I classroom teachers. You know, we had paraprofessionals in classrooms all the way up to grade 3. And we had a lot more staffing in 2001, 2002. Absolutely.
When we add that extra teacher per school, what would they be working on? Is it up to the individual school? Or are they all for math or?
They vary, and you've got those listed in the critical needs section, so they vary. Some it's math, some it's reading, some it's a half-time math, half-time reading. It's typically one or the other, or a combination of the two.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Leary?
No, I guess I agree with Committeeman Leahy. We're seeing devastating cuts in Title I. So what we asked our folks in the schools to do, our principals, is really to be proactive, and really, as the trade-offs are really, how do I run, for example, the Washington school? How can I ensure that I'm successful with the measurements I'm being measured? So if we're going to hold the principals accountable to running that operation, it's the school, excuse me, if we're going to hold them accountable to running that school, we have to let them make those trade-offs and have some confidence in them, because if they're not running it effectively, we're going to end up, well, I hate to say it, but we're going to remove that principal, put it bluntly. And I know a lot of the trade-offs, a lot of the principals have worked with other schools. For example, in the library media specialists, they're sharing with other schools to ensure they save a position. So while we're being devastated, which is the best word, by Title I cuts, the trade-offs that our principals have put in place, I'm going to support almost to the T, because I think they know what's going on specifically in the Washington school. And again, I agree with my colleague that we should have a reading specialist in every single school. And we are being devastated, but in the reality of where the money's coming from, our experts at those locations, at those schools, have made these recommendations. And I know from talking to a few of them, they've actually had conversations with their colleagues, other principals. So I'm not happy that we don't have reading specialists in every school. I think that could be counterproductive in the future. But I think our experts in these schools have made these recommendations, and I'm going to support them.
Thank you. Ms. Doherty?
Yes, I just wanted to add a point about the critical needs portion of the budget, where we would be restoring the equivalent of one teaching position to each of the elementary and middle schools. And as I looked through the schools, many of them are choosing that if they had that one position, they'd make it a reading teacher, such as the Riley, the school that Mr. Leahy pointed out. And as the superintendent mentioned, some of them are choosing math or looking at a 50-50 split. I know this is a chunk of money to be able to put these, one equivalent teaching position at each of the schools, but I think it is something we really need to look at, and I just want to add that.
Ms. Martin?
Thank you very much. Actually, it is the specific line item that I was looking at as well. Looking at these 13 additional positions is a significant investment that I don't feel we have. I would not be comfortable making that recommendation and adding that into the budget this evening. As we're looking at the numbers on within the staffing adjustments within the critical needs, I certainly see areas, and I see a lot of commitments that are being made by principals to make the most of what they have, which I certainly applaud. But I think this kind of a across-the-board increase is not something we can afford right now. If I would require more information and quite bluntly more convincing. And that's true not only of the elementary schools, but also of the middle schools addition that we'd be talking about. I mean, that's $1 million right there in 2 line items. So I think that we'd need to, I know that it's not represented currently in the budget we're looking at. This would be an additional expenditure that we'd need to vote on to add to what we have. But I just don't think we can make that kind of an addition when the numbers that we're dealing with are so tight. And the projections that we have to work with from the legislature and certainly from the city just don't warrant that kind of optimism. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Leahy.
Thank you. Could I just clear that up with my colleague? Were you suggesting that I was going to make a motion to add them in, or? I missed the first part of what you
I was
said.
just responding to the superintendent's recommendations, that within the staffing adjustments, the all category, that's where I am right now on page 13, referencing page 6.
Oh, all right.
Of the addition of 13 elementary school teachers
Oh, all right,
across
okay.
across the system.
All right.
But that's an additional, we'd need to take
Right,
action
that's
to
the
add that
addition.
in. It's not represented in the numbers we have in the actual budget tonight.
All right. I would
If you'd like to make it.
Sure, I know. Because what I would like to add also to I guess a wish list is if we out of the 13 elementary schools, we do have some reading specialists in the schools. Could you get us some information if extra money becomes available to the budget, what we would need to add back maybe 1 or 2 teachers, reading teachers to the elementary schools at least, so it would seem like we'd have more equity throughout the system? Would that be possible just so we know what we're looking at?
I can get you,
That
I
makes
can
sense.
certainly, I can certainly get you that information. I'd want to then, principals have made some difficult choices so that.
Well, I know
there's also a competing need here for mathematics and reading. So I wouldn't want to, if a principal in making some difficult judgments and looking very closely at what are the staff's strengths and where they need to grow are, if they've kept a reading teacher, I wouldn't want to penalize them, or if they've kept a math teacher in order.
Well, I
and
respect the
given it up.
decisions that are made, and I know they're difficult, but I think our thinking has always been that literacy will always help
Right.
the math, so I'd like to at least get some information
Sure.
on to
Sure.
know.
Well, I'm just-
what we
I'd be
might-
happy to get you that information.
So what do my colleagues, through you, Your Honor, to my colleagues, do my colleagues want to put this in abeyance? I mean, what's the
Do we
wish?
need to? I mean, I'm sorry.
Could I just please have a
Mr.
chance?
McHugh.
Thank you. I think it's a little confusing the way it's being laid out, because I know we had a subcommittee, and I just kind of, I was missing something, but I found it. For example, the Robinson School, as part of the trade-offs, they eliminated the foreign language department,
Right.
the program. But that's on page 10. But in its place, I think we were putting in ELA
Right.
in math. So maybe if there's more of a correlation of school by school, because it seems like we're going page by page, and it just seems a little confusing, as far as the programs that were offsetting each other, and then the differentiation, as Ms. Martin said, of the new positions on top of that. So at least we could kind of look at it from that, the building aspect. I think that might help make it a little clearer for everybody.
So,
I would say hold it in abeyance until
Okay.
the next meeting, and we can get some more information on that.
So hold
Could
one
I-
page
could I
in
just,
advance.
if I could take you though, possibly to page, of the materials you have, it is laid out by school. So if you wanted to look at, for example, page 3 of the information, you'd have the Robinson School. So you'd have this trade-off staffing adjustments for the Robinson School. So you'd see that the Robinson School is at the top of that page. They're adding 1 assistant principal position. They're adding 1 mathematics resource teaching position, adding 4 ELA literacy teaching positions, and that's being offset by eliminating 5 Spanish teaching positions as we eliminate the Spanish position and replace it with math and reading and writing instruction.
But the assistant principal
And the assistant is a trade-
offset by,
the daily
that's what I'm
assistant.
saying, I mean, that was the point. I mean, we were looking at these now, so we were
Yeah.
using these
Yeah.
today, and that didn't quite correlate to as
Yeah.
clear as this.
No, absolutely. And I think the daily one is the only one that went outside of a school. You know, it involved two schools. The rest of them were trade-offs within the school. So it is challenging to go back and forth between pages in the budget and school.
Through you, Your Honor, to my colleagues, what are my colleagues' wishes?
Well, at this point, I'd make a motion to approve this page as it stands. I don't know if we have any further discussion on this, but with the $25,163,228, with those additional 13 positions not included, and I would leave it at that unless and until the superintendent and the administration have more information and backup information for us later in the budget hearing process.
So
A very long motion, sorry.
So, I'm sorry, so you're looking at the bottom line of 25 and some change without the additional? I'll second that.
Motion to approve, I think Mr. Leahy already did, so.
Fine.
Motion to approve by Ms. Martin, seconded by Mr. Leary. Roll call, please. That's the bottom line, as it's presented, 25,163, 228 for elementary, kindergarten, and preschool services.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Martin,
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes?
7 yeas, approved.
Thank you. Next page is art, musical, and physical education teaching services. Madam Superintendent?
Yes, and again, correlating with page 14 of the information that you have, this includes 3 of the positions that were eliminated under trade-offs. 2 music positions, one from the Pine Arts and one from the Wang, and 1 physical education position from the Rogers. So the bottom line of this budget includes those changes. It does not include 3 items from the critical needs list: the funding for the band camp, which had been funded with a grant for $1,200, the Boston Lyric Opera project, which involves all of our middle schools, which has been grant funded, of $9,000, and the Monday night band ensemble at the middle schools, which also has been funded with grant funds that are no longer available. So it does not include those.
Your Honor, in one time at band camp, I mean, how can we not have band camp? I mean, so I'm gonna motion to add those,
I would second
those
that.
3 in.
Okay, motion by Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Ms. Doherty to increase the bottom line by adding these 3 numbers, which is, I believe, $20,700 in total.
20,700.
So that would increase
What is that now, that new bottom line? Okay.
$20,700. It increases the bottom line to $7,354,603, right? No.
Jay can get it.
Jay, you got it's $20,500, right?
Can you give it?
$7,355,303.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I'd just like to make a brief comment. I think that sports are very important. I also think that music is another way that we engage students in learning and school, and for $20,000, I think it would be unconscionable not to keep the programs. Thank you.
And they're all grants, so it's not like it's.
Well, they're not grants anymore. I think that's the point.
They were grants, but I think it's a very small price to pay. We know that students who go to band camp, learn music, do much better mathematically. And there's a clear correlation. It's not just the fact that we want a great band, we want to increase kids' mathematics skills. That's the issue. And then have a good time too, at band camp.
Can I just ask,
Mr. McHugh.
what line will we be putting these additions into in
Yeah,
the existing
what line?
budget?
I don't know what.
For right now, I just recorded it under the instrumental music program.
Okay,
That's a non-personnel line.
thank you.
All to the same line?
Instrumental music, is that what he said?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
So add 20,700 to that, right?
Right. Okay, so motion to increase the instrumental music line by 20,700 by Ms. Faticante, seconded by Ms. Doherty. Roll call, please.
Okay. Wait a minute, I'm sorry. Let's set it down, okay. Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Faticante.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Okay, motion to approve the bottom line on this page
Motion to approve the bottom line, Your Honor.
is increased to $7,355,303. Motion by Ms. Faticante, seconded by Ms. Doherty. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh.
Yes.
Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Faticante.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Okay, page 8 is teaching services for the English Language Learner Program. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, this includes several of the trade-offs involving elimination of a paraprofessional and a teaching position, but the addition of 2 teaching positions. So it's, again, trade-offs involving several schools. They're all reflected in this budget. There's nothing from the critical needs budget
Okay.
involved here.
I had a question.
Mr. Leahy.
I had a question on the academic chair at the high school. And I know I've asked this before, but some chairs are half chairs and this is a whole chair. Have we,
Sorry.
have we looked at? My question would be, can we manage with half chairs at the high school?
All the chair positions are full-time. All the academic chairs are full-time. Some are split between 2 departments, so that you'll find under art, 0.5, meaning a half, because the other half of that position is allocated to music. The same thing
So
with...
one person's doing
So one
half
person
of
is
that.
doing both departments. Same thing with physical education and athletic director. Half of the salary and position is allocated under the physical education page, half under the athletic page. So this is, so all of the chairs are full-time positions.
But they don't, the chairs don't teach any classes?
Yes, most of them teach.
They do teach.
Most of them are involved in teaching, yes.
Okay.
It's not
All
true
right.
for the athletic director, physical education.
Right.
But most of them do.
Okay, I had that wrong, so, okay, thank you.
Ms. Doherty.
I'd move approval on this page, Your Honor.
Okay, a motion to approve by Ms. Doherty, second by Mr. Leary. Before we have the vote, I have a question. Any objection to me asking from here? Madam Superintendent, in the parent liaisons, there is quite a low projection this year vis-a-vis what was budgeted, 27,000 versus 76,000. And that's back up to
Yes.
79. What's the reason?
Let me ask Mr. Lang.
Excuse me, I believe that particular line was due to vacancies during the course of the year. But there are three bodies in those 3 positions right now for next year. So they would be projected out at that current, the 79,831 salary. Full all year long.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please, on the motion to approve the, this page is presented, $5,896,994.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Faticante.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Thank you. Next item, teaching services, business, distributive technology, education. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, again, only two of the positions here are being eliminated as part of trade-offs, one involving the Wang and one involving Lowell High School. So there are no critical needs included here. This is just trade-offs.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve the bottom line of 729,258 by Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Ms. Martin. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Okay, page 10 is teaching services for English and foreign language. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, this is the page that has the reduction of the 5 Spanish teaching positions from the Robinson School. No other changes. And no critical needs included on this page.
Mr. Leary? Oh, all right, Ms. Martin. Motion approved by Ms. Martin, second by Mr. Leary. Roll call, please. Bottom line figure, $5,937,985.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Okay, next, page 11, teaching services, family life, consumer science, and ROTC. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, this includes the elimination of one family life and consumer science position as part of the trade-offs.
Move approval.
Motion approved by Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Ms. Doherty. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Martin,
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Okay, page 12 are teaching services for instructional technology. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, there are several additions and deletions that come as a result of the trade-offs. And then also on this page, although not included in this budget, are 2 recommendations from the critical needs list to try to, involving elementary upgrades of elementary computer capabilities. I certainly recognize the financial limitations, so I understand that issue. At the same time, I think it is important for us to recognize that we're falling behind. 3 years ago, we had achieved the state standard of one grade A or B workstation for every 5 students. In the most recent report, we have fallen behind the state and now falling kind of rapidly behind as we've been unable to significantly upgrade our either our servers or our workstations. That said, I do understand the issues that we're facing financially. Those upgrades are not included in this budget. All that's written in the budget here is just maintaining a modest investment in upgrade and replacement of the oldest of our equipment.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes, Your Honor, a question through you to the superintendent. With our decision to go to this new student database X2 program, are our elementary schools able to support that new database program with the current computer programming, computers and servers that they have?
We've had opportunity to try a lot of that out with the report cards with this year, so that we've been able to identify where we'll be short next year for web access, and we will be able to meet that need within the $300,000 budgeted. So we will be able to meet that critical need. We just won't be able to advance much beyond that, but we will be able to make full use of the new student database software at all of our schools.
Ms. Martin?
Thank you. Through you to the superintendent, could you share with us the rationale behind adding this, the computer repair contracted services, bringing that on as a new, and what the offset would be for us, or the benefit of it?
Yes, let me ask Mr. Lang, because I think you know that he was spearheaded this effort at looking at some different ways and more hopefully effective ways to meet those needs.
Thank you. We had, as you know, I think we reported out to the technology subcommittee just a little over a month and a half ago, the possibility of contracting for some of our repair services, particularly around the Apple Macs in the schools. We had two K-8 primarily Macintosh repair technician positions in the district. We had, one pretty much always filled, and the other one we always had a problem filling. So the subcommittee and the full committee authorized me to use the funds from that remaining position to actually contract out some of the repair within the last month and a half, right till June, to try to get our district caught up. And this actually worked exceedingly well. And I think we're going to be far ahead of where I even thought we would be by the end of the school year. So our recommendation is actually to next year take the funds from both positions, both K-8 Mac repair technicians, roll that dollar amount from the personnel side of the budget down to the computer repair contracted services. So the actual dollar amounts that would have been previously carried for those two salaries rolls right down to the non-personnel section of the budget. So our recommendation, in effect, by doing so, would be to eliminate the two positions and then to actually contract for those services July 1st on at all of our K-8 schools.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes, Your Honor, through you to the superintendent, I have another question about this technology piece. I noticed when we look at upgrading the computer labs, we're talking about over $400,000, a lot of money. But just to upgrade the servers would only be $100,000, and I'm wondering if it would make any sense to just upgrade the servers, if that wouldn't help with speed and things like that, or if you really need both things together.
Let me ask Mr. Lang.
Excuse me. What I would actually recommend is this year the committee had actually voted and allocated money to upgrade the servers and a lab in each of the middle schools, which again went very well. So each of the middle schools has new Mac servers running OS 10, the latest version that they have, plus a new lab in each school. I think we have 2 left to do before the end of June, but that was our goal. It really wouldn't make a lot of sense to upgrade all the servers in the 13 elementary schools without putting a new lab on, because the updated server has the latest version of the software on it, the OS 10 that they're running. If we had all the older Macs in the buildings running the OS 9, it really wouldn't make a lot of sense. So I would say over the course of the year, if we identify funds and can do kind of partially go toward it, it'd be better to go school by school, prioritize based on need, and upgrade that school's servers and bring a new lab on board and do it over the course of the year as money becomes available.
Mr. Leahy? Thank you. With that in mind, what you just said about the computers, do we move some of the computers from the middle school down to the elementary when we replace them in the middle school? I mean, I know they're still old, but maybe they're better than the ones we have in the elementary school.
Right. Typically what's been happening is within a building, within a computer lab, the new computers will go in and actually replace old computers in the lab. The better computers then from the lab are dispersed to the classrooms. By the time those are dispersed to the classrooms, and it's been so long, every 4 or 5 years we're actually upgrading a lab, that by the time those classroom computers are able to be shifted out of the building, they're 8+ years old, and they really have no useful life in an elementary or a middle school. So no, that's usually they just stay and kind of reside at the middle school or any school that they're at until they're deemed to be, they're broken or surplus, and we bring back for a vote to kind of clear them out. But no, they really don't have a useful life after they've been there for so long.
All right. Would you say that the elementary computers, though, serve the needs? I mean, they're not very, for the programs that the kids run in elementary school, I mean, it'd be nice to have computers, but I'm wondering, what they use the computers for progresses as they go up in each grade level, so.
Well, actually, increasingly, the software that has been identified, the programs that have been identified as most effective and most powerful with young children actually require a lot of computer capacity to run. We've had some great success with a couple of programs that require high-powered computers. The truth is, the younger children's, a lot of the programs require.
Okay.
It's not in the sort of the old sort of black and white text. Sure. To have word processing software doesn't have a great use at the elementary school level.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. McHugh.
Yes, if I could just clarify, I'm looking at these sheets that were passed out tonight, or came in the mail over the weekend. I'm on page 16 of those, if you want to just take a look. And it's showing there's the reductions and the adds. It appears we're taking out a -2 and adding in 1.5. Yet when I go back to the budget book, it shows that we're increasing the instructional technology specialists from 20 to 20.5. So it appears we're going up a 0.5, but the backup information shows we should be going down a 0.5. That would be my first question. And then the second question would be the difference from, the two differences. We're projecting, do we have unfilled positions currently? Because, of the lower amount and the increase for next year.
Let me ask Mr. Lang to respond to that.
Thank you. Excuse me, this year, and it's not noted within the changes here that you have in front of you, but when we went through the similar scenario last year, and we had a lot of the trade-offs between the ITSs, the instructional technology specialists, and the library media specialists, at the end of that whole process, we ended up, it's kind of a coding issue, there were either one too many LMSs and one few ITS, or flip-flop. So this budget actually goes in and corrects for that. So you're going to see and it is not laid out as far as the budget adjustment goes, because it was an actual employee in that spot. It was just they carried a different title. Sometimes they'll play a different role within a school, and they'll be considered more of an ITS than an LMS. But when you get to the library media page, a few pages up, you'll see that it actually goes the other way by that body. But that was not spelled out within the budget adjustment page. But that is based on our actual employees in positions today, less those swap-arounds.
Okay, so in essence, we had one additional person that was coded in properly, so they would still see a net 0.5. Right. That's the difference.
Right.
We're
But
going
total
down.
ITS and LMS, it was correct.
Okay, and the money difference from the projected versus next year?
Yes, just vacancies during the course of the year. But if all positions are filled as on the first day of school, they would be fully expended.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Leahy?
Well, thank you. Just to clarify the critical needs list then, what do we, did you say we can't have one without the other? Is that my understanding? All right. And we can't trim down, the lab is what the lab is. You need 32, okay. Could you just clear a couple of things? Does every school have a computer lab, and are they using them? Because I know we had to make adjustments throughout the year, so every elementary school is using a lab?
Let me ask Mr. Rurak to comment on that.
With the recent cuts that we had in those positions several years ago, some of the schools share an ITS, and some of the ITSs would be going from one school to another on a weekly basis. So some of the labs aren't necessarily utilized 100% of the time. That's one of the reports that we should have for you later on this year. Unfortunately, we don't have it for you right now, but to answer your question directly, they're not utilized all the time.
I mean, because what I'm thinking also ahead is, do we want new computers in all the schools, or would we rather have, reading teachers? So is this something that we can put in abeyance, well, it's an add-on, so we just hold it to the end maybe, or, because, we're going to make some difficult decisions, so do we want to add the reading teachers, or do we want the computers and try to get the computers at the end of, with some savings?
Ms. Doherty?
My feeling at this time is I would not go for the computers or the new servers, because like we've said earlier, times are tough. We don't have the staff to really fully utilize the computers we have in place. We've done some updating, and it'll work with the new database system that we're getting. So I think it's not a priority in terms of some of the other things we're looking at, like reading teachers. So that's just my thoughts.
All right, thank you.
Okay, what's the wish of the committee here?
Well, is there a motion to, what should we, through you, Your Honor, to the committee, motion to hold that in abeyance? Or just, okay? Well,
Ms. Doherty?
The
We're on page
computer,
12,
the
I
computer
believe,
stuff.
Page 12, right.
I would just move to accept the page as it is.
As it is. Yep.
Motion to approve the bottom line as presented of $1,976,700 made by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Leahy. Roll call.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin.
Yes.
Mr. McHugh.
Yes.
Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Miss Doherty.
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Okay. On to page 13, teaching services for mathematics and science. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, in the budget page, the trade-offs involving science specialists are reflected here, not reflected in the budget, but if the committee chooses to do it, would be, here's where the committee would restore the academic department chair for science at the high school. But that is not in this budget.
Ms. Fattacante.
Could the superintendent repeat that? It's not, can repeat that again?
If the committee wants to restore the academic chair for science, you would need to add $80,000 to the line.
It's,
Yes. Yes.
through you,
sorry.
Your Honor, to the superintendent, what benefit do I get with a full-time person in comparison to what I have now?
Right now, we have a person, there are a couple benefits. Right now, we have a person handling the science department and all of the culinary arts, business, all of those areas of the high school. If we have a separate, so that the person's supervising, I believe, more than 60 individual teachers. If we restore the full-time chair for science, then the person currently doing that job, plus the others, would do the business, the culinary arts, the technology, plus probably health, because that used to fall under there, which would enable us to have the combined athletic director phys ed position not also do health. So we'd have a benefit to the athletic director phys ed position, as well as a benefit for science, where the person would be a science specialist focusing on the 40-plus teachers who teach science at the high school.
Okay, because this was a specific cut that we made, I think, 3 budgets ago.
Right.
To give the AD the health
right
material also.
Right.
The health department.
And we made that cut several years ago. I know you remember at the point of a retirement. So it was,
right.
You know, there were some decisions made at that point. The then science department chair was retiring. Rather than fill the position, we assigned different people to take over various of the responsibilities. So this would restore the full-time science department chair position. It actually would require that we add the full $80,000, because the person currently doing this half would then move
right.
into another area.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Leahy.
Could you just elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, in the case of science, you know, we're moving to a point where youngsters are going to have to pass an MCAS exam to graduate. We have a large number of teachers who have retired or are retiring. We're bringing in people who are new to the teaching field in some cases. They may be expert in science, but they're new to teaching, or they've studied how to teach, but their backgrounds in science is not incredibly strong. We really need, at this time, someone who really can specialize and focus on the nearly 40 people at the high school who are teaching science. Already there are several, there's chemistry, there's physics, there's biology, there's the ninth grade heavily earth science curriculum and physical science curriculum. The high school needs a person who can specialize in science, focus on that discipline, really help us during these critical times when we've got to make sure that the science curriculum is really preparing kids adequately. Not just for MCAS, but also we've got a lot of youngsters who we know have the potential to go into engineering, to go into other fields of science, and not having someone who can devote all of their attention to that is hurting us.
Thank you. And could you just explain the domino effect on the chairs also?
Sure. The domino effect is that the person who's currently handling science would be able to spend all of her time in the culinary arts, the business, and the technology, which are big areas all by themselves, and she could pick up health, which is now covered. The whole health instruction is covered by the athletic director and physical education director. So that, which was a very difficult combining, I mean, that's a very difficult position to do, to combine athletic director and physical education, when you also add to it that the person's responsible for health, and we have a required health course. We want it to be meaningful. We want it to be strong for students. I think we have 8 or 9 health teachers at the high school, so that's another 9 or 10 people that need to be supported, directed, supervised, and evaluated. So they'd be able to get that supervision and support from a person who has a more reasonable number of people to supervise, and for whom that person also has training. So it would help in many departments at the high school, not just science, to make this change.
Okay. Ms. Martin.
Thank you. Just wanting to know kind of the real-world implications of this. The full-time academic chair for science, would that be basically a new individual that the individual who's currently doing this half-time would be? I mean, and I don't know who anyone is, but my question is that I recognize the benefit of additional time on this task, but I have to tell you, I would find it more compelling to have somebody in this position with a truly compelling science background.
Absolutely.
I think that's what the expertise is something that would drive my decision and make me want to support this increase. If we could have a true, and again, not knowing who any of the individuals are, but I think there is a real benefit in having our science department led by someone who has real expertise within the field, and that would encourage me to support this, and I go right ahead. So
if I could just
encourage me.
If I could, yes, I'd be happy to encourage you. The person who was good enough to take on the responsibility of the science department was the person who had been in charge of family consumer science and technology, not science. That's not her formal background. What we would do here is that, so the person currently doing it would return to the role that she had before. So she'd have technology, she'd have the family consumer science, culinary arts, she'd also have business, which she has been doing recently but didn't used to do because we eliminated the business academic chair department position as well. And then we would post the position of academic chair for science. We would absolutely look for a person with a strong science background from within the staff or outside. We'd post and hire the strongest person. And then we'd have a person whose background is in science, whose experience in teaching is in science, who could really bring firsthand direct expertise in science to that role.
Ms. Doherty.
Thank you, Your Honor. Through you to the superintendent. I guess I've got a comment first and then a question. My comment is I absolutely support this need. I think we do need someone qualified running the science program at the high school. My concern and question is, I had heard that we've got limited science lab facilities, that not all our students even get a chance to take science lab. And I'm just wondering why we're asking for a science chair and not the opportunity to expand our science labs so that we could have more students experiencing the lab.
The cost of equipping labs at the high school and then staffing at an adequate level so that all students could take a laboratory science is very high. There are large one-time costs as well as large ongoing costs. This is a modest effort to support improved quality in the science curriculum that we currently have, which I agree with you. I wish there was more laboratory science experiences for all youngsters, and that's a long-term goal. Certainly it's a long-term goal of mine. But it's a goal that we've not been able to make any significant progress on, although we did, and the committee was very helpful in in advocating for an upgrading of the science labs in the last couple of years, and that helped us out enormously at the time of accreditation to get the labs in better shape than they were in. But we do not have enough science labs, nor enough science teachers to teach the kind of 6-period, double-period lab that we really need to be offering our youngsters. That would be a much greater investment than this investment of $80,000.
Ms. Martin?
I absolutely agree that giving the opportunity to give our students more exposure to lab experiences is going to be critically important as we move forward, especially with the looming pressure of a science-based MCAS coming up on in the next few years. But I have to tell you, I would look at this, and again, making the choice to make this a full-time focus for an individual, I really see the benefit of we cannot adequately or we cannot use the labs we have until we have a curriculum that is sound, that is based in the most current scientific thinking, and I would make that investment in that process, knowing that certainly we need to then provide our science department with those appropriate resources, but I do think it's a critical first step to have an individual who has that really strong background and expertise laying the groundwork, laying the foundation for us. You know, having gone through some labs at the high school, I can tell you, I am no scientist. And I think our students, could benefit greatly from a better experience. I'm sure they would bring more to it than I did. So, but I do think that this would be, I see this really as an area that we need to start placing resources. And having the leadership at this level, I think, is going to be critically important to us as we move forward. So could I guess in the form of a motion to recommend that we bring the academic chair for science at Lowell High School to a full-time FTE, full-time equivalent for the next school year?
Okay, motion to increase, which line would that be then?
I'd recommend that for now you add at academic chair, the $80,000.
Academic science chair,
Okay.
half-time to full-time.
All right, so there'd be a motion to
Academic chair, okay.
amend the academic chair line by increasing it by $80,000.
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Martin, seconded by Ms. Faticante. Mr. Leary.
Yeah, I'm not going to support this motion. I do believe we do need a science department head, but if I look at the number of teachers, we're losing 4 science teachers throughout the system due to trade-offs, which I said, maybe a half an hour ago. I'd be willing to support the experts in the schools saying we don't need 4 elementary school science teachers. So, and I do understand, I'm cognizant that to develop, just what Committeeman Martin just said, develop a complete comprehensive program would start with the department head. But at this point, given the fact that there's a lot of other areas that I'm going to want to add to in this budget that are important, I'm not going to support this motion.
Mr. McHugh.
I also will not support this motion at this point. I've been trying to, when I go through this, look and focus on direct needs to students, and I think that's where it's another tough fiscal year, and I just have to look at it from that point of view. Where positions that provide direct services to students are important, and I think this is great to have. I understand the rationale, I understand the philosophy. I just don't know if this is the right year to do this at this point, and I think it's something, if money did become available, I can see that, because I think we're going to have to do this sooner or later. I just think at this point I would rather continue looking at adding things that provide those direct student support that we need at this time. So I just want to let people know. Thank you.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes, I'd just like to say that I agree that we need to focus on direct services to students, but I think that if you've got 40 science teachers without someone at the helm leading them and, raising the bar on accountability and standards and making sure that we're fully using what granted limited facilities we have, I think that does translate to services to students, which I think in this area is essential. Thank you.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Leahy.
Yes.
Mr. Leary.
No.
Miss Martin.
Yes.
Mr. McHugh.
No.
Mayor Martin.
No.
Miss Doherty.
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes.
4 yeas, 3 nays, approved.
So that was to increase the academic chair line by 80,000. So now the bottom line approval of this department would increase to 8,231,862. Motion to approve by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Ms. Martin. Roll call.
Mr. Leahy.
Yes.
Mr. Larry.
No.
Miss Martin.
Yes.
Mr. McHugh.
No.
Mayor Martin.
No.
Miss Doherty.
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes.
4 yeas, 3 nays, approved.
Okay. Next item is page 14, Teaching Services for Social Studies. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, no changes on this page.
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Ms. Doherty. Roll call.
Can I have the, I need the one, you should say it out.
The bottom line number is $3,300,250. Mr. Leahy.
Sorry, I did have one question. Through you to Superintendent, can we just, the field trip line item went up, but could you just give us a little explanation on that?
Yes, let me just ask Mr. Rock to explain that.
We've decided to add an additional grade to go to the Tsongas Industrial History Center. We've integrated now science into the curriculum that's going to be taught at the Tsongas Center, so we want to add additional students to participate in this. We've had several middle schools that have taken advantage of it this year, so what we'll be recommending is all the middle schools participate in those particular grades. So that's why there's an additional fee.
It's an outgrowth of the U.S. History 3-year federal U.S. History grant that we received, where our staff worked with UMass Lowell and Tsongas Center staff to really revamp the whole curriculum at 2 grade levels at the middle school. So this now enables all the students at those 2 grade levels to take advantage of 3 years' worth of work.
Thank you.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Leahy.
Yes.
Mr. Leary.
Yes.
Miss Martin.
Yes.
Mr. McHugh.
Yes.
Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Miss Doherty.
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Okay, I have the next page is 15A, Teaching Services for Special Education. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, on page 17 of your of the sheets that explain it, lists all of the changes on page 15A that represent the essential needs. So that pages 17 and 18 of that explanation include both the trades and the increases under the essential needs budget. So I'd welcome responding to any questions.
Your Honor, through you to the superintendent and to my colleagues, we had a special ed subcommittee meeting the other night, and some of the things I see in this page are things that we have not yet decided upon. So I'm wondering if we should hold this in abeyance. Okay, motion to hold in abeyance, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to
Until we settle all this in the special ed subcommittee meeting, because, for instance, there are lots of questions that we as colleagues have about this department and the reorganization, which I see some of that here, and I'd rather have it decided in subcommittee and then us to come back as a school committee and make those recommendations.
Okay, so motion to hold in abeyance, delay
Yes.
further action by Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Mr. Leary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So we'll hold that till further budget hearing meeting. Next item is page 16, which is Teaching Services for Extended Time Enrichment Programs. Madam Superintendent.
This is the budget for, that covers, the biggest part of this budget is for out-of-district tuition placements.
This is
I'm
next
sorry.
page.
I'm sorry, skipped all of 15.
The Knowledge Bowl.
I'm sorry, page 16. This is one item, the Knowledge Bowl.
Move approval.
Second.
$25,000. Move
Motion to
approval.
approve by Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Mr. Leahy. Roll call. The bottom line figure, $25,000.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh.
Yes.
Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Miss Doherty.
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Page 17, Teaching Services, Professional Development.
Yes, no changes on this page except for an increase in the tuition reimbursement lines so that we can meet our contractual obligations for providing tuition reimbursement for the growing number of teachers who are participating in graduate courses, primarily because of the new Teacher Academy.
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Mr. Leary, seconded by Ms. Doherty. I do have one question, if I could, Madam Superintendent. On this page, for example, we have a textbook, system-wide supplies and textbook line item. I noticed when we were talking about the science department, there was a line item for textbooks, nothing funded. How do we draw distinctions between this system-wide and which department? It's really more of a question for me, not having been through one of these hearings before.
Over the last several years, particularly with the very tight budgets and no increases in the school-based allocations, we've really assumed at central office more and more of the responsibility for making department-wide or district-wide purchases of textbooks. So a new reading series or new mathematics series, or this committee 2 years ago made great efforts under this line item to purchase the new science textbooks for the high school, the new mathematics series for the high school. So more and more of our textbook purchases, even at the high school, are coming out of this system-wide account.
Okay, thank you. So that 2 years ago purchase of science textbooks would explain why there was nothing in here this year. Okay. Okay, roll call?
Could I just ask one?
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Leahy.
No, thank you. Through you to Superintendent, with the amount of purchases we've made in the last year or so, is that account adequate right now? Would you feel, or should it?
It's very tight. It's very, very tight.
Are we going to spend that right away, or I mean?
Well, I think this is the year coming up is the last year that you'll see me having to bring forward a request for an increase a year from now.
Well, should we put a little bit into it now, maybe? I mean, what would the committee, well, everybody's shaking their head, but.
Oh, I'm not shaking my head.
Maybe
I'm not-
we should, put a little bit more into it while we're looking at the budget here. I would put a motion that we just bring it right up to an even 300,000, at least that'll, help out somewhat.
But the textbook account, was he talking about
But
the
I mean,
textbook
I don't know what, we've made so many big purchases, do we have a figure in?
We certainly have a significant number of needs. Mr. Rock was just leaning over to me and saying that he's got a request on his desk for $25,000 for science texts at the middle school level that he was not,
I would make a
planning
motion
on.
to bring it up to 300,000.
I'll second that.
Well, we already have a motion on the floor, so you want to substitute?
all right,
Substitute.
sorry, Substitute.
Substitute motion.
Substitute motion to increase the line item for system-wide supplies and textbooks by $29,500 to make it an even $300,000 by Mr. Leahy. Any second on that motion by Ms. Fattacante? Mr. Leary.
Just, so if you add this amount of money, you're going to buy science textbooks then? That's the,
We increase it by 30,000.
I mean, that's what you had to hold off on before, right?
Well, one of the things that we have a committee looking at is changing our scope and sequence at the middle level to accommodate the high school high-stake testing, and the integration of the ninth grade curriculum in the future at the high school will be primarily in biology. So in preparation, we want to change the content of the curriculum at the middle level to prepare our students to take biology and to take the high-stakes test. So this comes at a very appropriate time that we could use those resources this year.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, roll call?
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Martin,
No.
Miss Doherty.
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes?
6 yeas, 1 nay, substitute motion approved. Want the original motion?
The new bottom line?
Yep, so that would increase the, do you have that number, Jay?
Yes, it's, new bottom line is $1,252,420.
Move approval.
Motion to approve the new bottom line,
Will you say it again, though? I have to...
$1,252,420. Teaching services, professional development. So moved by Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Ms. Doherty. Roll call.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin, absent. Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Martin,
No.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Fattacante. 5 yeas, 1 nay, 1 absent. Approved.
Okay, the next item, page 18, teaching services, adult and community education. Madam Superintendent?
Yes, no changes recommended in this budget.
Motion to approve by
Move
Ms.
approval.
Fattacante, seconded by Mr. Leahy. Mr. Leary.
Just one quick question. I mean, why did, it's a small amount of money, but it did go up from, I guess I'm looking at the line item for adult education teachers. We didn't add anybody, but the line item went up about $5,000. It's small, but why? Am I reading it right, or am I totally? The budget's 331,553. And the 20506, the actuals were 317. The budget for 0506 was 316.
No.
So it's an increase of $5,000. So it did change. I mean, what's the rationale for that?
Without doing the research on it, I'm guessing that the person who was in one of the 5 positions moved up a step on the salary grid, and I hadn't accounted for it through the last budget process.
So this would be like the step
Well,
increase?
yeah, when they hit the, like, say, like a 10-year threshold, or 20 or
Okay,
30.
it's a step
I might
increase,
not,
isn't it?
a step increase. I might not have had the proper year in for them.
Okay.
Okay, roll call on the motion?
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin, Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Martin,
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent. Approved.
Your Honor, the committee requests a 5-minute recess, please.
Motion for recess for 5 minutes by
Yes.
Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Ms. Doherty. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? We'll stand in recess for 5 minutes.
Recess. It is May 22nd. Jill.
Regina.